What's good, you guys? It's your boy here, and today we'll be at it again with another review. And today we'll be reviewing Dragon Age The Veilguard. This game is an action role-playing video game developed by BioWare and published by EA. Now let's talk about the story. The story begins 10 years after the events of Dragon Age Inquisition. You, Varric, and Harding pursue Solus in the Tevinter capital of the city of Minrathous, attempting to stop Solus from destroying the Veil. You disrupt Solus' ritual to destroy the Veil, which released two ancient elven gods tied to the Veil, which is Elgranon and Gelanane, who are hell-bent on destroying the world using the Blight, and it is up to you to stop the gods from blighting the world. Is the overall story perfect? No. Is it bad? No. How I feel about the story is whether you are completely new to the Dragon Age franchise or just a veteran, and not even just a veteran. Like, if you just simply played like Dragon Age Inquisition, you're still gonna have a good time with the story and you're not gonna get lost overall. So I feel like with my overall experience, I feel like it was okay. This overall story was not bad at all. And before we talk about the gameplay at all, I'm gonna nip this in the bud right now. The fact that we only have a player character limit of 3 is freaking wild. And for each player character limit save, we only have about 100 saves. During that one playthrough that I did, I only made it through 25. It says 25, but I already instantly know that I've gone through 45. I've gone through like half of them joints. You mean to tell me that you couldn't add in like 3, maybe like 4 more player character saves? Are you kidding me? I'm just gonna hope that they're gonna add more player character saves in the future, because only having 3 player character saves is freaking wild. You would want to have numerous playthrough with numerous different types of characters. So I feel like they just need to add more, but regardless, that's over with now. Let's talk about the overall gameplay. I'm gonna talk about the dialogue first. The dialogue for me personally was really enjoyable and satisfying, because the choices that you made actually mattered. And like the previous BioWare games, it's technically the same thing, where it's like you get a positive option, a funny option, and then a serious option, and then there's other options where you could be straight up like yelling or mean. They'll give you other options that's based on the faction that you chose, and they'll also give you other rare options that you can choose from later on. And the character development with numerous of the companions that you'll end up meeting throughout the game, it's really, for me personally, I feel like it was just a phenomenal experience. As for the character creator, I enjoyed the character creator. You could choose between a lineage, which is a human, dwarf, elf, or Qunari, and majority of the slider isn't too detailed like Dragon's Dogma 2, for example, but it wasn't bad either, so I completely enjoyed the character creator overall. And it's weird too, because they have their own little detail, like for example, you could change the melanin in your skin, which is cool. But in simpler terms, I'ma just say that I had fun with the character creator regardless. You can choose between 3 classes, which is the rogue, the warrior, and the mage. Each class has their own specific way of using their abilities. For example, the rogue class, it honestly depends on how much damage that you deal and how much momentum that you have, while the warrior class depends on how much damage that you deal and how much damage that you can take. So obviously each of those classes can be unique in their own specific way, and on top of all that, they have a tremendous skill tree that you could literally mix and match at any given moment. The strategy behind its combat system is to manage the various abilities that you and your companion have at that given moment. You can always have that option to use the tactical strategy wheel, but you can also do it in real time now as well. I love it because it's a lot smoother and it has a little bit more fluid to it, if you understand what I mean, making it a little bit more fast paced. They also still kind of stuck with the primer and detonator mechanic, where the primer mechanic sets an enemy up for a follow-up detonation ability, while the detonator detonates a prime target, causing additional damage and effects to the overall target. Sometimes the fighting can get a little bit clunky sometimes, especially with the camera, because there are certain type of places like Treviso and Dogtown, since the area is so small, you could barely get any angles, but it didn't happen often. You can choose between 7 companions, each with their own unique abilities, primers, and detonators. and depending on what type of decisions that you make, some of them can get hardened. That means that they'll take one support ability away and add in a whole bunch of extra damage for the rest of their abilities. The game also have a little bit of RPG elements to it, like you can order stuff from vendors, you can upgrade majority of the gear that you have up to like level 10, and then in order for you to increase the rarity of that specific item, you need to find that same item again, which is kind of weird. And then there are unique gear where it gives you a benefit, but it also gives you a penalty. You can collect certain runes that give you certain status effects, and then just to keep the customization customizable, you're able to customize your custom character as you wish, which is kind of dope. Environmentally, in a gameplay standpoint, for me, it was just out of this world, because you're able to explore numerous different areas, and the further that you'll get to the story, you'll be able to progress through certain sections of the map that you haven't accessed beforehand. And weirdly enough, there is a whole bunch of puzzles in this game, but it'll make it worth your while. Just to have a little bit of clarification, there's a whole bunch of things to do, a whole bunch of things to interact with, a whole bunch of things to unlock, and it's just beautiful. I loved it to the highest detail. Graphically, the game was just phenomenal. You'll enter a world of Thetis with a vibrant land of rugged wildernesses, treacherous labyrinths, and glittering cities, which was absolutely beautiful. And the fact that they actually paid attention to detail with the hair follicles and the overall world, it just looked really, really beautiful. Except for the final boss cutscene, when I was fighting the final boss, for some reason the frame rate just dipped tremendously, and then it just jumped right back up, which was really, really odd. But other than that, the overall performance was just really, really good, and I just simply completely loved their soundtrack. It sounded really, really good. And weirdly enough, there are some glitches in the game. The only two glitches that I noticed were, I'm gonna start with the bad one, where there's a trophy called the Call for Coin of Company, where you just need to max out the Lord of Fortune faction. For some reason, regardless if you max it out, it's still not gonna pop up. And for some reason on the Arthan's Forest map, it's telling me that I already technically hit like 11, but for some reason it's not counted. It's saying that I literally did 10, despite of me doing 12. But majority of the time, the game is really, really polished, and I didn't really experience any glitches at all. With that, I think that I covered mostly everything, so let's just hop on to the overview. So on the positive side of things, I love the overall story. I think that majority of the dialogue in this game is okay. The character creator is fine. I love the classes that they have in the game. Definitely completely love their skill tree, and I love their combat system. It's really, really fluid. Majority of the companions in the game are lit. I definitely like that they have some RPG elements to the game. Environmentally, in a gameplay standpoint, I enjoyed it despite of them having puzzles, but overall it was okay. And graphically, for the most part, it was fine. It was really, really phenomenal for me, except for that one specific part, but I'm gonna just let that slide because graphically the game looked amazing anyway, and I definitely enjoyed their soundtrack. On a negative side of things, you only have a player character limit save of 3, and it sucks because if you would have had at least 3, maybe like 4 more, it would have been okay, because numerous people would want to make numerous playthroughs with numerous characters, and in certain places the camera can get pretty bad at times. It does have glitches here and there. Some are bigger than others, but for the most part you won't really encounter them that much. This game came out on October 31st, 2024. This game is strictly on the next gen, so it's only on PS5, Xbox Series S and X, and is also on PC. If you get the game digitally, it should be about $69.99. Obviously, it will cost more if you buy certain editions, and weirdly enough, on Steam specifically, it's only $59.99 instead of $69.99, so it's just $10 less. If you get the games in your local store, it should be about the same price range, but obviously it may be cheaper. It honestly all depends on where you look. So is this game worth your money? For me personally, I had a fantastic time playing this game. and the game was worth it for me in its own right because I finally had some goddamn closure. Because Dragon Age Inquisition didn't come out till 2014, so we didn't have any Dragon Age games for a whole freaking decade. So for a whole decade, my inner child wanted to freaking have that conclusion right after I finished the Trespasser DLC. So did I get what I wanted, and did I like what I played? Yes. But regardless of my little tangent, again, like I said, if you are completely new or whether you're a veteran at the Dragon Age series, you will definitely enjoy playing this game. So with that being said, I highly advise you to buy the game. If you can't afford it, just wait until the price drops. For me personally, I feel like it's just a completely different experience that you wouldn't want to miss. Well, that was the review. If you liked the review, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet. I do reviews, videos, PvP matches, streams, and more. And if you haven't yet, please don't forget to follow me on my Facebook page and my Twitch account because I probably will stream on those platforms as well. Everything should be in the description box below, and you guys will have a great day.